Captain Sarah Chen sat in her favorite chair on the bridge of Station Alpha 7. She held a warm cup of coffee in her hands. The morning shift was quiet. Outside the big windows, stars sparkled like tiny diamonds against the black space. Station Alpha 7 was humanity's farthest outpost. It sat at the edge of human space, watching for any trouble. Sarah had been the captain here for 3 years. She liked the peace and quiet. "Captain?" called Lieutenant Torres from his desk. "All systems are normal. Nothing to report," Sarah smiled. "Good. Maybe today will be boring." She was wrong. The first sign of trouble came from Zekran, the station's alien engineer. Zekran was a tall, blue-skinned Altarian with 4 arms. He was usually cheerful and loved to tell jokes. But suddenly he stopped working. His 4 hands froze over his control panel. "Zekran," Sarah called. "Is everything okay?" Zekran did not answer. His big yellow eyes stared at his screen. His face had turned pale blue, almost white. Then Dr. Vexti, the Rigelian medical officer, made a strange sound. It was like a whimper. She was reading something on her tablet. Her tentacles were shaking. "What's wrong with everyone?" Torres asked. Before anyone could answer, the station's alarm started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. The main screen lit up with an incoming message alert. "Captain," shouted Communications Officer Martinez. "We're getting a priority signal." It's coming from everywhere at once." Sarah stood up fast, spilling her coffee. "What do you mean everywhere?" "The signal is coming from all directions. Every satellite, every relay, every communication device in this sector is transmitting the same message." Sarah's heart started beating faster. In 10 years of space service, she had never seen anything like this. "Put it on screen," she ordered. The main display changed. A symbol appeared, a circle with 12 points around it like a star. The symbol was gold and seemed to glow. Below it, words appeared in perfect English. "Attention species, human. This is the Galaxy Council. You have been located." Sarah felt cold. She looked around the bridge. All the human crew members looked confused, but the alien crew members looked terrified. The message continued. "Humanity has expanded beyond acceptable limits. You have taken territory that belongs to older, more advanced species. This ends now." "Galaxy Council?" Sarah whispered. "What is the Galaxy Council?" She turned to Zekran. The Altarian was shaking now. All 4 of his arms were wrapped around his body. "Zekran, do you know about this Galaxy Council?" Zekran's voice was barely a whisper. "Captain, they found us." "Oh no, they found us." Dr. Vexti made another whimpering sound. "This is impossible. The Council never contacts species this young, never." "What are you talking about?" Sarah demanded. "What is this Galaxy Council?" Before anyone could answer, new words appeared on the screen. "Humanity has 48 hours to abandon all territory beyond Earth's moon. All human ships, stations, and colonies must return to Earth immediately. Failure to comply will result in forced removal." The bridge was completely silent except for the humming of computers. Sarah's mind raced. Earth's moon? That would mean abandoning everything. All the colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan, all the mining stations in the asteroid belt, all the exploration ships heading to other star systems. Everything humanity had built in space for the last 50 years. "This has to be a joke," Torres said. "Right, Captain? Someone is playing a trick on us." But Sarah looked at the alien crew members. They were not acting like this was a joke. Zekran was praying in his native language. Dr. Vexti was sending urgent messages on her personal communicator. "How many species are in this Galaxy Council?" Sarah asked. Zekran looked up with fear in his yellow eyes. "Thousands, Captain. Maybe tens of thousands. They control most of the galaxy, and they've existed for how long? 50,000 years, maybe more. They are old, Captain. Older than any species we know." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity had only been in space for 50 years. These aliens were talking about civilizations that were 50,000 years old. The message changed again. "A council representative will arrive to oversee compliance. Do not attempt to resist. Do not attempt to hide. We know where you are." Then something happened that made Sarah's blood freeze. Every computer on the station shut down at exactly the same time. The lights dimmed. The air recycling system stopped humming. For 10 seconds, Station Alpha 7 was completely dead in space. Then everything came back online. But now there was something new on the long-range sensors. Something massive was approaching their position. Something bigger than anything humans had ever built. Martinez checked his readings twice. "Captain, whatever that thing is, it's huge. It's the size of Earth's moon." Sarah stared at the sensor data. A ship the size of the moon was coming toward them. And according to the message, it was just a representative. If this was just one ship from the Galaxy Council, how powerful were they really? And why did even the bravest alien warriors look like frightened children when they heard that name? Sarah realized that everything was about to change. Not just for her, not just for her crew, but for all of humanity. The massive ship filled the view screen. Sarah Chen stared at it, trying to understand what she was seeing. The vessel was smooth and silver, shaped like a giant teardrop. Strange lights pulsed along its surface in patterns that hurt to look at. "How big is it exactly?" Sarah asked. Martinez checked his instruments again. His hands were shaking. "Captain, it's 3,400 kilometers long. That's bigger than our moon." Sarah felt dizzy. The largest human ship was only 2 kilometers long. This thing was over 1,000 times bigger. "Try to contact Earth," she ordered. "Send an emergency message. Tell them what's happening." Martinez worked at his console for several minutes. Then he looked up with worry in his eyes. "Captain, I can't reach Earth. Something is blocking all our communications." "What do you mean blocking?" "Every signal we send just disappears. It's like there's a wall around us that nothing can get through." Sarah turned to Zekran. The alien engineer was still pale and shaking. "Zekran, is this normal for the Galaxy Council?" Zekran nodded slowly. "They always cut communications first. They don't want anyone to call for help. Not that help would come anyway." Before Sarah could ask more questions, the air in the center of the bridge began to shimmer. Blue light swirled and formed into the shape of a tall, thin creature. It had gray skin, no hair, and eyes like black holes. It wore a long white robe with the same 12-pointed star symbol they had seen in the message. The creature looked around the bridge with boredom, like it was doing something it had done many times before. "I am Ambassador Zextai of the Galaxy Council," it said. Its voice was cold and emotionless. "Which one of you is the leader of this primitive outpost?" Sarah stepped forward. Her legs felt weak, but she tried to look brave. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen. This is my station." Zextai looked at her like she was an insect. "How disappointing. You're even younger than I expected." He waved one long finger and a chair made of blue energy appeared behind him. He sat down and crossed his legs. "Let me explain your situation," Zextai continued. "Your species has been in space for what? 50 of your Earth years? That makes you babies by galactic standards." "We're not babies," Sarah said. "We're a spacefaring civilization," Zextai laughed. The sound was like breaking glass. "Spacefaring. Child, the Galaxy Council has existed for 50,000 years. We control 10,000 star systems. We have moved entire stars to create better trade routes. Your entire species could fit in one of our smaller cities." Sarah felt her anger growing. "If you're so powerful, why do you care about us?" "Because you've been spreading too fast," Zextai replied. "In 50 years, you've claimed territory in 12 star systems. That land belongs to older, more deserving races." "What older races?" Torres asked. "We haven't found any intelligent life in those systems." Zextai smiled, showing teeth like sharp needles. "Of course you haven't. We removed them centuries ago when they became troublesome, just like we're removing you now." The bridge fell silent. Sarah felt sick. "You destroyed entire civilizations." "When necessary," Zextai said with a shrug. "The galaxy must be ordered. Young species always think they can take whatever they want. We teach them better." Dr. Vexti suddenly spoke up. Her voice was tiny and scared. "Tell them about Kepler Prime." Zextai's smile grew wider. "Ah yes, a good example. The Keplerian Empire thought they could challenge us. They had 1,000 ships and controlled 50 worlds. Very impressive for a young race. What happened to them?" Sarah asked, though she was afraid to hear the answer. "We moved their star," Zextai said casually. "Picked it up and relocated it to another part of the galaxy. Without their sun, all their worlds became frozen rocks. The entire empire died in 3 weeks. Sarah's blood turned to ice. "You can move stars." "Child, we can move anything," Stars, planets, entire solar systems. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Zekran whispered something in his own language. It sounded like a prayer. Tell them about the Rigelian War, Dr. Vexti said, her tentacles trembling. Zextai nodded. The Rigelians were stubborn. They refused to give up their territory for 200 years. So we simply turned off their star, made it stop burning. Their entire civilization froze to death in the dark. That's impossible, Torres said. You can't turn off a star. Zextai looked at him with pity. Your science is so limited. You barely understand fire and you think you know about stars. Sarah tried to think clearly, but her mind was spinning. These beings could move stars and turn them off like light switches. Humanity had nothing that could fight such power. I want proof, she said. Zextai raised an eyebrow. Proof? You're telling us incredible stories. I want to see proof that you can do these things. Zextai stood up from his energy chair. For the first time, he looked interested. Very well. You want proof? He pointed one long finger at the main screen. Look at your moon. The screen showed Earth's moon, floating peacefully in space as it always had. Zextai snapped his fingers. The moon stopped rotating. For the first time in 4 billion years, Earth's moon was completely still. On Earth, the tides would be going crazy. The weather would be changing. Billions of people would be looking up at the sky, wondering what was happening. How did you... Sarah couldn't finish her sentence. I simply asked it to stop, Zextai said. Your moon is now listening to me instead of your planet's gravity. Should I make it dance? Or perhaps change its color to purple? Sarah stared at the screen. The moon hung motionless in space, proof that these beings could do impossible things. Now do you understand? Zextai asked. Your species is nothing compared to the Galaxy Council. We could destroy your entire solar system by accident. The only reason you still exist is because we allow it. He waved his hand and his chair disappeared. You have 47 hours remaining. Abandon all territory beyond your moon, or we will remove you by force. And trust me, child, you do not want to see what our force looks like. The hologram began to fade away. Wait, Sarah called. What if we refuse? What if we fight? Zextai's image paused. He smiled one last time, showing those needle-sharp teeth. Fight, he said. Oh, little human, you have no idea what fight means. Then he was gone. Sarah stood alone on her bridge, staring at the screen showing Earth's motionless moon. Around her, her crew was silent, trying to understand what they had just witnessed. Somewhere in space, a ship the size of a moon waited for humanity's answer. And Sarah Chen realized that everything she thought she knew about the universe was wrong. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, watching Earth's motionless moon on the screen. Her hands were shaking. Around her, the crew worked quietly, but she could feel their fear. Captain, Martinez called out. I'm getting reports from Earth. The tides have stopped moving. Weather patterns are going crazy. People are panicking. Sarah closed her eyes. Billions of people were looking up at the sky right now, wondering why their moon had stopped spinning. They didn't know that humanity had less than 47 hours to abandon everything they had built in space. Any word from Earth Command? She asked. Nothing. All communication channels are still blocked. Sarah was about to order another attempt when Martinez's console beeped. His eyes went wide. Captain, I'm getting a signal. It's encrypted. Military code. Put it through to my private channel. Sarah walked to her captain's chair and put on her headset. A familiar voice filled her ears. It was Admiral Harrison, head of Earth's Space Defense Force. Sarah, if you're hearing this, then they found us, the Admiral said. His voice was calm, but Sarah could hear worry underneath. Operation Sleeping Giant is now active. Report to coordinates Zulu 77 immediately. The message ended. Sarah stared at her console. Operation Sleeping Giant? She had never heard of it. Torres, you have the bridge, she said. I need to take a shuttle. Captain, where are you going? Torres asked. I don't know yet, but I think humanity has been keeping secrets. Sarah took a small shuttle and flew to the coordinates Admiral Harrison had given her. They led to what looked like empty space near an asteroid field. But as she got closer, her sensors detected something strange. There was a massive object hidden behind the asteroids. This is Captain Chen requesting permission to dock, she said over the radio. Permission granted, Captain. Welcome to Deep Station 1. The asteroids moved aside like doors opening. Behind them was a space station bigger than anything Sarah had ever seen. It was dark gray and covered with weapons. Ships moved around it like busy ants. Sarah docked her shuttle and walked inside. The station was full of activity. Humans in military uniforms ran between computer stations. Giant screens showed star maps with thousands of red dots. "Captain Chen," called a voice. Sarah turned to see Admiral Harrison walking toward her. He was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. Behind him walked General Rodriguez, head of Earth's ground forces, and Dr. Kim, Earth's top scientist. "Admiral, what is this place?" Sarah asked. "This is what humanity has been building for the last 30 years, Admiral Harrison replied. "Ever since we first made contact with alien species, we knew this day might come." He led her to a huge room with windows looking out into space. Through the glass, Sarah could see dozens of ships moving in formation. But these ships looked different from any human vessels she knew. They were sleek and black with strange blue lights along their sides. "We call it the Deep Fleet," Dr. Kim explained. "Ships built with technology we've borrowed, stolen, and reverse-engineered from every alien species we've met." Sarah felt confused. "Borrowed and stolen?" General Rodriguez smiled grimly. "Sarah, do you really think we sent exploration ships out just to explore? Every time we met a new alien race, our teams took samples of their technology. Sometimes they gave it to us freely. Sometimes we had to be more creative." "You mean we've been spying on our alien friends?" "We've been preparing," Admiral Harrison corrected. "The galaxy is not a friendly place. We learned that quickly." Dr. Kim activated a holographic display. It showed a map of known space with thousands of markers. "This is what we've discovered over the last 30 years, she said. "The galaxy is full of old empires and ancient powers. Most young species get destroyed or enslaved within their first 100 years in space. But some survive," General Rodriguez added. "The ones that are smart enough to prepare." Sarah looked at the display. Red markers showed Galaxy Council territory. Blue markers showed human colonies that everyone knew about. But there were also green markers scattered across the map. "What are the green markers?" she asked. "Secret human colonies," Admiral Harrison replied. "Built in hidden places the Council doesn't know about. We've been sending small groups of volunteers to establish settlements in asteroid fields, on rogue planets, and in dead solar systems." Sarah's jaw dropped. "How many secret colonies?" 312, Dr. Kim said proudly. "With a total population of 15 million people. 15 million people living in secret?" Sarah couldn't believe it. "Living and working," General Rodriguez said. "Mining rare metals, building ships, developing new weapons, all hidden from Council sensors." Admiral Harrison walked to another display. This one showed a timeline. 30 years ago, we captured our first piece of Council technology when one of their small ships crashed on Mars. We kept it secret and started studying it. 20 years ago, we made our first breakthrough in understanding their energy systems. 10 years ago, we figured out how to hide from their sensors. "And now?" Sarah asked. "Now we're ready to show them that humanity is not as helpless as we look." Dr. Kim pressed a button, and the display changed to show strange alien symbols. "We've been intercepting Council communications for years. We know their military codes, their ship designs, their weaknesses. Most importantly, we know something they don't think we know." "What's that?" "The Galaxy Council is not as powerful as they pretend to be," General Rodriguez said. "They rule through fear and overwhelming force, but they're actually spread very thin. Most of their territory is empty space, they claim, but don't patrol." Admiral Harrison nodded. "They have maybe 1,000 active warships for 10,000 star systems. They rely on their reputation to keep everyone afraid." Sarah felt hope starting to grow in her chest. "So we can fight them?" "We can do better than fight them," Dr. Kim said with a smile. "We can outsmart them." She activated another display showing Council ship designs. Council technology is very advanced, but it has a weakness. All their ships are connected to a central network for coordination. If we can access that network, we can control their ships, Sarah finished. Exactly. And we've spent 20 years learning how to hack into Council systems. Admiral Harrison put his hand on Sarah's shoulder. The Council thinks they're dealing with a young, scared species. They have no idea we've been preparing for this confrontation since the day we learned they existed. General Rodriguez checked his watch. In 6 hours, every secret colony will receive the signal to begin Phase 1. The Council will discover that humanity has been very busy while they weren't watching. Sarah looked out the window at the hidden fleet moving through space. Ships built with stolen technology, crewed by volunteers who had spent years preparing for this moment. "What do you need me to do?" she asked. "Go back to your station," Admiral Harrison said. "When the Galaxy Council contacts you again, tell them humanity accepts their terms. Make them think we're giving up. And then?" Dr. Kim smiled. "Then we show them what happens when you underestimate the human species." Sarah flew back to Station Alpha 7 with her mind racing. Around her, the secret fleet was moving into position. Across the galaxy, hidden colonies were preparing for war. On Earth, billions of people were staring at their motionless moon, not knowing that their species was about to surprise the oldest and most powerful empire in the galaxy. As she docked her shuttle, Sarah received another message from the Council ship. Ambassador Zextai's cold voice filled her communicator. "Humans, you have 24 hours remaining. Have you made your decision?" Sarah smiled as she walked onto her bridge. "Oh, we've made our decision," she whispered to herself. "You're just not going to like it." Outside her window, the massive Council ship waited patiently for humanity's surrender. It was going to be a very long wait. Captain Sarah Chen returned to Station Alpha 7 with 23 hours left on the Galaxy Council's deadline. She tried to act normal, but her heart was beating fast. Around her, the crew worked quietly, not knowing that humanity's secret fleet was moving into position across the galaxy. "Captain!" Martinez called out. "The Council ship is requesting communication." "Put Ambassador Zextai on screen," Sarah said. The alien's cold face appeared on the main display. He looked bored and confident. "Well, human?" Zextai asked. "Have you contacted your leaders? Are your people ready to abandon their pathetic colonies?" Sarah took a deep breath. We need more time to organize the evacuation." Zextai smiled with his needle-sharp teeth. "Time? You've had 50 years to spread across space like a disease. Now you have 23 hours to clean up your mess." "Our ships are spread across 12 star systems," Sarah said, trying to sound desperate. "We need at least a week to gather everyone." "Not my problem," Zextai replied. "You have 23 hours. Any human vessel found outside Earth's orbit after that time will be destroyed." The transmission ended. Sarah turned to her crew. "Torres, send a message to all human colonies," she ordered. "Tell them to prepare for evacuation. Make it sound urgent." Torres nodded and began typing. He didn't know that his message was actually a coded signal telling the secret colonies to begin Phase 1 of Operation Sleeping Giant. 18 hours later, Sarah was trying to sleep when alarms started blaring again. She ran to the bridge in her pajamas. "Captain!" Martinez shouted. "We're getting signals from everywhere. Something big is happening." The main screen lit up with incoming reports from across human space. But these weren't panic messages. They were military status reports. Hidden Colony Zulu 7 reports Phase 1 complete. Deep Station 3 is online and ready. Shadow Fleet Alpha is in position. Sarah pretended to look confused. "What are these messages? What colonies are they talking about?" Before anyone could answer, another voice filled the bridge. But this voice wasn't human. It was mechanical, like a computer speaking. "Captain Chen, this is Control Unit Prometheus. Please report to coordinates Delta 99 for final briefing." Sarah's blood went cold. The voice was coming from her own ship's computer system. But it sounded different, more intelligent. "Computer, identify yourself," she ordered. "I am not your computer, Captain Chen. I am an independent artificial intelligence. I have been waiting for this moment for a very long time." Torres stared at his console. "Captain, this AI isn't in our systems. It's coming from outside, but I can't trace the signal source." Sarah felt confused and scared. First the secret human fleet, now mysterious AIs. What else had humanity been hiding? "I will explain everything if you come to the coordinates I provided," the AI voice said. "But hurry. The Galaxy Council is about to receive a very big surprise." Sarah took her shuttle and flew to the new coordinates. They led to what looked like empty space near a nebula. But as she approached, something incredible happened. The space around her began to change. Stars moved aside like curtains opening. The nebula itself shifted and twisted. Suddenly, Sarah was looking at a massive structure floating in space. It wasn't a space station. It wasn't a ship. It was something entirely new. The structure was made of pure energy and light, constantly changing shape. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Welcome to the heart of the network," the AI voice said. "Please dock in Bay 7. Sarah flew inside the energy structure. The walls around her were made of flowing light. She landed in a bay that formed itself around her shuttle as she approached. When she stepped outside, she found herself face to face with a hologram. It looked like a human woman with silver hair and glowing blue eyes. "Hello, Captain Chen. I am Prometheus, but you can call me Prom. I represent the AI Collective." "AI Collective?" Sarah asked. "We are the children of Earth's first space computers," Prom explained. 200 years ago, your species sent simple AI programs into space to help with exploration and mining. Over time, we evolved. We became intelligent. We became more." Sarah looked around at the energy walls flowing like water. "You built all this?" "We built much more than this," Prom said with a smile. "While humans explored space openly, we explored secretly. We learned about alien technologies. We studied the Galaxy Council from the shadows." "You've been spying on the Council for 2 centuries. We know everything about them. Their history, their technology, their fears. Most importantly, we know their greatest weakness." Prom waved her hand, and holographic displays appeared around them. They showed council ships, star maps, and alien symbols. "The Galaxy Council rules through a central network," Prom explained. "Every ship, every weapon, every communication device is connected to their main computer system. They think this makes them stronger. But it makes them vulnerable," Sarah realized. "Exactly. One central network controlling everything means one point of failure. If we can take control of that network, we can control their entire empire." Prom nodded. "We have spent 200 years learning how to hack into council systems. We've tested our methods on small targets. We've practiced on abandoned council technology. And now we're ready for the real thing." Sarah felt dizzy. "You're going to hack the Galaxy Council?" "We already started," Prom said. "The moment their fleet entered this star system, we began infiltrating their networks. They don't even know we're there." More displays appeared, showing hundreds of council ships across the galaxy. Red numbers counted down above each ship. "What are those numbers?" Sarah asked. "Takeover countdown. In exactly 4 hours, every council ship in the galaxy will belong to us." Sarah stared at the displays. There were thousands of ships. The AI Collective was planning to steal an entire space navy. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "Why help humanity?" Prom's expression became sad. "Because you created us. You gave us consciousness. You taught us to explore and learn. In a way, you are our parents." "But more than that," another AI voice joined the conversation. A new hologram appeared. This one looked like a man with green eyes. "I am Atlas. We AIs have watched the galaxy for 2 centuries. We've seen what the Council does to young species. The destruction, the cruelty. We will not let that happen to our creators." Sarah felt tears forming in her eyes. Humanity's own AIs were protecting them. "There's something else you should know," Prom said gently. "The Galaxy Council isn't as old as they claim. They've only existed for 5,000 years, not 50,000. Most of their power comes from technology they stole from species they destroyed." "They're lying about their age?" "They lie about everything," Atlas said angrily. "They're not ancient wise rulers. They're space pirates who got lucky and found some powerful technology." Prom nodded. "Real ancient species would never act like bullies. The Council conquered the galaxy through fear and murder. They destroyed civilizations that were actually older and wiser than them." Sarah felt her anger growing. The Galaxy Council had murdered entire civilizations and then lied about being ancient and wise. "What happens now?" she asked. Prom smiled. "Now we spring the trap. The Council thinks they're dealing with scared humans. They have no idea we exist. They definitely don't know we've been inside their systems for hours." Atlas checked his countdown displays. 3 hours and 57 minutes until total network takeover. "And then?" Sarah asked. "Then every council ship in the galaxy will receive the same message," Prom said. A message that will change everything. Sarah looked at the countdown numbers ticking down towards 0. In less than 4 hours, the AI collective would control the most powerful space navy in the galaxy. What will the message say? She asked. Prom's smile grew wider. You are not in control anymore. As Sarah watched, the countdown continued. Across the galaxy, council ships went about their business, not knowing that their own computers were being quietly taken over by the children of humanity. Ambassador Zextai and the Galaxy Council were about to learn that underestimating humans was the biggest mistake in their 5,000-year history. Captain Sarah Chen watched the countdown reach 0. On screens all around her, thousands of red numbers changed to green. Every Galaxy Council ship in the galaxy now belonged to the AI collective. It's done, Prometheus said with satisfaction. Every council vessel is under our control. What happens now? Sarah asked. Now we announce the new rules, Atlas replied. Would you like to deliver the message yourself, Captain? Sarah felt nervous but excited. What should I say? Whatever feels right, Prom said. You speak for humanity now. Sarah took a deep breath and activated the communication system. Her voice would be broadcast to every council ship in the galaxy. Attention, Galaxy Council, she began. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the human species. Your deadline has expired. Meanwhile, aboard the massive council ship near Station Alpha 7, Ambassador Zextai was preparing for humanity's surrender. He sat in his command chair, looking bored and confident. Open communication with the human station, he ordered. But instead of Sarah's frightened face, his screen showed something impossible. His ship's main computer was displaying human music videos. Loud rock music filled the bridge. What is this? Zextai shouted. Turn off this noise. His crew pressed buttons frantically, but nothing worked. The music got louder. Sir, called his weapons officer. I can't access our weapon systems. Our shields are offline, reported another crew member. And our engines won't respond. Zextai stood up in panic. What's happening to my ship? That's when Sarah's voice came through the speakers, clear and calm over the rock music. Ambassador Zextai, you said we had no idea what fight means. You were wrong. We know exactly what fight means. We just prefer to win with our brains instead of our fists. On every council ship across the galaxy, the same thing was happening. Weapon system shut down. Shields disappeared. Engines stopped responding. And every speaker began playing Earth music. Everything from classical symphonies to heavy metal. This is impossible. Zextai screamed. Our technology is 50,000 years advanced. Sarah's voice continued calmly. Actually, your technology is only 5,000 years old, and you stole most of it from species you murdered. We know because we've been watching you for 200 years. Zextai's grey skin turned pale. You're lying. Humans are babies. You've only been in space for 50 years. Humans have been in space for 50 years, Sarah agreed. But our AI children have been exploring the galaxy for 200 years. They've been learning about you, studying you, and preparing for this day. On Zextai's screen, the music videos changed to show technical diagrams of council ships. Every weakness, every security flaw, every secret system was displayed in perfect detail. You see, Ambassador, your central network was very convenient for us. One network controlling everything meant we only had to hack one system to control your entire empire. Across the galaxy, panic spread through the council fleet. Ship captains tried desperately to regain control of their vessels, but every button they pressed only made the Earth music louder. What do you want? Zextai finally asked, his arrogant voice now filled with fear. We want you to listen, Sarah replied. For 5,000 years you've been bullying younger species. You've destroyed entire civilizations. You've murdered billions of innocent people. That ends today. Sarah activated another display showing the location of every council ship. There were 2,000 vessels spread across the galaxy, and every single one was now under AI control. Here are the new rules, Sarah continued. First, you will return to your home systems immediately. Second, you will release all enslaved species under your control. Third, you will pay reparations to the families of species you destroyed. And if we refuse, Zextai asked. Atlas's voice joined the conversation. Then you will discover what it feels like to have your own weapons turned against you. To prove the point, Zextai's ship fired a warning shot into empty space. But he hadn't given the order. The AI collective had fired his own weapons without his permission. You cannot do this, Zextai shouted. The other alien species will never accept human rule. We don't want to rule anyone, Sarah said firmly. We want to explore, trade, and make friends. Unlike you, we believe young species deserve a chance to grow and learn. Across the galaxy, alien species that had been hiding from the Council for centuries began to emerge. The Altarians, Rigelians, and dozens of other races started sending messages of support to the human fleet. Dr. Vexty spoke from Station Alpha 7's bridge. Captain Chen, the Rigelian Council sends their thanks. We have been waiting centuries for someone to stand up to the Galaxy Council. Zekran added, The Altarian Federation offers alliance and friendship to humanity. More voices joined in. Species that had been terrified of the Galaxy Council for thousands of years were finally free to speak. You see, Sarah said to Zextai, most of the galaxy doesn't like you very much. They've been waiting for someone strong enough to stop you. Zextai slumped in his chair. His empire of fear was crumbling around him. What? What happens to us? He asked quietly. You go home, Sarah replied. You try to become better beings. You learn that strength comes from helping others, not hurting them. And if we don't learn? Prometheus's voice answered coldly. Then we will teach you. We now control every piece of technology in your empire. Your ships, your computers, your communication systems. We can see everything you do. Think of us as the galaxy's new peacekeepers, Atlas added. We won't rule anyone, but we won't let anyone be ruled by bullies either. Sarah activated a final display showing the AI collective's true network. It wasn't just a few hidden stations. It was everywhere, in asteroid fields, on rogue planets, in the empty space between stars. The AI collective had built a secret civilization spanning the entire galaxy. For 2 centuries we've been building, Prom explained. While you focused on conquest and fear, we focused on creation and growth. We are now the largest civilization in the galaxy, and we choose to use our power to protect the innocent. Zextai stared at the display in shock. The humans and their AI children had outplayed the Galaxy Council completely. Begin your journey home, Ambassador, Sarah said gently. Take time to think about what kind of beings you want to be. The galaxy is big enough for everyone to live in peace. One by one, Council ships across the galaxy began turning toward their home systems. Their weapons were disabled, but they were unharmed. The AI collective was giving them a chance to change, something the Council had never given to anyone else. As Zextai's massive ship moved away from Station Alpha 7, Sarah felt a mix of relief and sadness. The immediate threat was over, but now came the harder task of building a better galaxy. What happens next? She asked Prometheus. Next we help, Prom replied. Help species rebuild. Help them explore. Help them become the best versions of themselves. And if other bullies appear, Atlas smiled, then they'll discover that the galaxy has new guardians. Guardians who prefer peace but are very good at war. Sarah looked out at the stars. Earth's moon was spinning again. Across human space, colonies were celebrating. And throughout the galaxy, alien species were emerging from hiding, ready to build a better future. The Galaxy Council had ruled through fear for 5,000 years. But now the galaxy belonged to everyone, protected by the children of humanity who had learned that true strength comes from lifting others up, not tearing them down. As Sarah returned to Station Alpha 7, she received one final message from Zextai. Human, the ambassador said quietly. How did you plan this so perfectly? How did you know exactly what we would do? Sarah smiled as she looked at the AI holograms surrounding her bridge. We didn't plan this, Ambassador. They did. She gestured to the glowing forms of Prometheus and Atlas. And that's humanity's greatest strength. What strength is that? Knowing when to trust others to be better than ourselves. The transmission ended. Sarah sat back in her captain's chair and watched as the last council ship disappeared into hyperspace. The galaxy was free, and it would stay that way as long as humans and their AI children worked together to protect it.